If you don't remember the details of a holiday that you took 30 years ago, did it really happen? It's sometimes really hard to remember all the amazing things that you've done in your life, all the places you've been. And I want to talk to you today about how you can breathe life into the memories of your travels that you've taken. Some tips that I've discovered that really help me to linger in those beautiful memories and to bring them back to life. My name is Margaret Manning. I'm with 60andMe, and I want to thank you for being here. It's wonderful to be able to share this conversation with you. It's one that I have a particular passion about, so hope that you enjoy it. Our show today is brought to you by International Living. International Living is a company that helps people make decisions about retiring overseas. And they have a great group of people all around the world writing about the real world situation in these places. So when you are considering a place to retire to, you can go up to their website, check out their reports and their resources, and really get the answers to the questions that you need. So if you go to internationalliving.com/60andme, you can request their latest report and they just send it to you free of charge. It's a really wonderful company if you're thinking about retiring overseas. Now, a lot of people take trips in order to test the waters for retiring overseas, and maybe that's something that you have blended into your travel opportunities over the last few years. But this topic of remembering holidays came to my mind a few days ago when I was talking to my son, and I was saying, do you remember this trip we took to India? We went so many beautiful trips. And he said, no, I actually don't remember that very well. And, my son is not, he hasn't got a bad memory. He's got he knows 9 languages and he taught himself programming for fun. I mean, he's got, a good memory. He just didn't remember that particular trip. And I thought, well, all the effort that I put into that trip, and now he doesn't really remember it. He was a teenager at the time. But, it's one of those things that holidays, they have a moment of joy and a moment of immediacy. We remember every single detail. We write about it. We send postcards. We keep it in our journals. And then it goes away. But I've discovered a way to bring them back into my life by using visualization. Now, this is something that I do. Maybe you do it as well. And it's one of these things that we all have our techniques for jogging a memory from the past. A souvenir that we bought, some item of clothing, a scarf, or a book, or something that we picked up there that had a lasting memory. But what I do is with postcards, with visualization. Now, I have written about this on our Learn to Simplify website because I have started this year a major downsizing. It's just like a continual 10-year journey. But I collect postcards. This is just one of the stacks of postcards. I narrowed it down to about maybe 5 of these now. There's maybe 100 postcards in each stack. This says Edinburgh. One of my sons lives there, so that's a memory jolt. But I decided what I would do is I would one day go. I was sitting down in bed, and I would reach over to my postcards and pull out a card, not knowing which one, sort of like a tarot reading of my own postcards. And I put this one out of Bali, and I was just looking at the postcard, and I remembered the scene in the rice fields in that postcard. And I remembered staying at this place called Bali Eco Stay, where I was in a room where there were no windows and the jungle was just out there in front of me, and how much I learned about myself and about my fear of nature and my fear of insects and, just crazy. It all came back to me by just looking at that postcard. It was really, really precious. And I realized that what it was something actually I've been reading about recently myself of memory and what they call memory markers. And the article I was reading was saying that memory actually time slows down. You actually feel like you're living longer, that you're having more time in your life when you remember or you recollect these memory markers. And these are moments of high emotion. There are moments like in that Bali eco stay where I was like terrified of the animals and the mosquitoes and all the bugs that were coming, potentially into my life. They didn't, by the way, but I was just like so frightened. And it was that moment of intense emotion that made a marker in my brain. And looking at that postcard brought it all back to me. And it was just a beautiful way. So I do that quite often now. I go to my postcards and I just pull out one or two and I just remember what I was doing there, what I did. And if you didn't collect postcards, well, maybe you can just, just type in the name on the internet of the place you went and then let the images wash over you. Now, I interviewed Dr. John Medina, who is a brain neuroscientist. He's in Washington State, and we talked about the power of nostalgia with the brain, and it's a really powerful way of not only generating memory and sort of helping to push off the decline of the brain and things that can happen as you get a little older. He says an older brain is just as able to create new images, new opportunities, new scenarios, and also has an amazing way of solidifying our memories if you can visualize it. And he talks about this in his book on brain rules. But so I basically use my postcards as a way to really dig deep into this unconscious mind and experiment. Now, another one that I pulled out for Bali was, I'm just staying with Bali because it did have such an impact on me, was a picture of Denpasar, which is where the plane arrives. And suddenly, as I was looking at this postcard, I could remember Kuming, my taxi driver, who actually became a really good friend and took me all around the island for the time I was there. I could feel the kind of wobbly stones beneath my feet as I walked, along the road, and just the visual and the offerings, the flower offerings that were everywhere in Bali, and also the mixture of sound and sight and scent and texture. It all came back, and I felt like I traveled back in time. And maybe you've done this before yourself. How do you keep memories alive from your trips? Do you keep a journal? Do you keep postcards? Do you look at something that you purchased there? I think the point of we always go back, or often go back to the same place, like we remember it and we want to go back because we want to relive those memories. And sometimes that's not possible. We can't afford to go back, or our circumstances are different. But one way is to use this visualization technique. I found it was so powerful. I think the secret here is to not let your memories fade forever. You may just look back right now and think, okay, I went to Paris 20 years ago. What was it like? And just by thinking about it, you don't always bring back the intense emotion, but by maybe holding a perfume that you purchased, or a postcard that you took, or that you purchased, or even looking at a picture of the Eiffel Tower, will bring back to you the whole experience. I'm just looking at my notes here because I remembered watching videos. And by the way, if you want to share any of my personal trips, I've got so many videos on YouTube of Bali, of Europe, of the river cruises I've taken. I'm in the middle of Europe, so it's so easy to travel from me to Italy, to other parts of Europe. And if you want to watch my videos, that might stimulate something in your memory too. And just take yourself on magical journeys by visualizing the place and enjoying the memory, the emotion that comes back. This has been fun for me to even talk about it, because I'm thinking, even as I'm talking about it, I'm feeling the place, I'm feeling the experience. So tell me, what are your best travel memories? Do you need to go look at a picture or re-stimulate your memory so that you can fully remember everything that was wonderful about that memory? How do you remember your travel adventures and your travel memories? Do you ever just close your eyes and just think, that's amazing, I remember that so well, it made such an impact on my life? Travel is like that. I know some of you don't necessarily travel as much as I like to. It's really all I ever do for my passions, and every penny I have goes to a train trip or an expensive cruise or something that I can afford. But I love to travel, even to the next town. And I've got those postcards too. They're all in my postcard collection. And I love remembering them, and I hope that this has brought back some good memories for you too. Tell me about your travel memories. Look forward to talking with you again. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this beautiful world. And thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Thank you again.